All righty, let's see. 1 second, let me just get things set. Okay, hey everyone. Let me make sure everything is working, all the tech working according to plan. It's time I set out the reminders before I pressed start, so I think that's going to help, which is good. Hi, I'm Philly. I'm coming to you live from Philadelphia, and we're talking easy and healthy treats you can make. So we're going to talk about that in a second. I just want to make sure everything is up and working. There we go. Wonderful. Okay. Let me see. I'm going to put this, 1 second, make a little adjustments here. Put this a little bit out of the way. There we go, like that. All right. Okay, so hey friends, it's Philly. So when you want a snack, what do you grab? And if you want to stay full until your next meal, what do you grab? And so I don't know about you, but I find that depending upon what I grab when I'm hungry and in between meals has a definite impact on me staying satisfied until I have my lunch or dinner. And what I've been learning as I was recovering from some health issues over Christmas is to make more mindful decisions about snacks. Plus I had a sweet tooth. So there are going to be a lot of sweet things today. So hopefully that will satisfy your sweet tooth as well. But yeah, so what do we snack on? And I know protein is like, I mean, it's been years now that we've been talking about making sure you have protein with every meal. Protein's an important part of snack. And it doesn't have to come from meat sources either, animal sources. It can come from things like beans. It can come from things like yogurt, cheese. Like there's lots of ways to get protein, right? So I'm going to share with you some of my favorite snacks currently, as well as some I want to try in front of you and see how they are. Because some of these are ones that I saw that caught my eye on social media. One of them is one that I have tried that went viral, 3 million views. And I didn't even include that down below yet because I almost forgot to put that information in. But I'm going to tell you about that. That's going to be the last thing we do. So don't forget that one. At the very end, I'm going to show you the viral snack that is for a good sweet tooth that had 3 million views from this TikTok creator. So stay tuned for that. But let's see who's joining us. DS, hey, how are you? Good to see you. Please tell Ruby I said hi if she's with you. It is a beautiful day here in Philadelphia. It is cold. It's not that the temperature is so cold. However, the wind is like over 25 miles an hour. So the wind chill is in the 20s. I think it's in the 30s. So it is chilly here. And Barbara, hey, Barbara won our, what do you call it? Our giveaway at our last stream. So, and Barbara, because I want to be careful. It was a busy week. And I want to be careful, and I want to wash that apron that I used and send that all to you. And I think I'm going to need to wash my hand because I'm worried that the emblem will come off. So Barbara's our big winner of the chef hat and the apron. So yay to Barbara. Nice to have you come on. Yes, I agree with you. I feel like this past month, in January especially, I just learned so many more ideas about snacks, and especially if you have a sweet tooth. Now, I generally don't have a super big sweet tooth, but after my health issues, that came on strong, so I do think we're going to have a little detox that's going to be needed this month or next, but these are great ones also if you have a sweet tooth. And DS says, I go to cakes, cookies, ice cream, and need to lose some weight. I know, and don't you think, one thing I will say, for healthy snacks, the best thing we can do is plan in advance or have things ready in our fridge or our pantry that are good to go to grab so they're easy when hunger strikes. So, so let me tell you how it's going to be going. And we are going to be doing 4 with a bonus 5th one, that viral one that's going to be at the very end that had 3 million views. And I'm going to be sharing that one. But first, we're going to be kind of starting some things and then diving into some of the other snacks just so we can kind of make good use of our time today. I know the last stream was quite long. So the first thing I'm going to get started on, I'm going to get my air fryer heated, is is savory. So, and I will say, sadly, it's the only savory, it's the only savory one today, but it's one that I have gone to. So you know that chickpeas have been having a moment for quite a while. They're a great source of protein, and to be honest, when I was younger, and I'm talking just even in my 20s, like garbanzo beans, chickpeas, whatever you call them, they just kind of, I did not like the look of them, I did not like the texture of them, and that was not a bean that was really, I was very friendly towards. And then I think when hummus became so popular, and I realized that that was just, made with chickpeas, I then kind of I opened up to it more. And I know we have things like banza, which is a chickpea pasta that helps you get protein in your pasta. Although to me, that does have a bit of a flavor to it. We actually, when I was raising the boys, and they, if they would have, the Kraft macaroni and cheese, they would be like either A, they would want to eat each one would want to eat the whole package themselves, or B, they'd be hungry later. So I was starting to get banza made a macaroni and cheese, and I did that just because it helped them feel fuller, and they still got that macaroni and cheese vibe. So as they were older in their teens, that was usually what I was cooking for them, or they were cooking for themselves if they felt like mac and cheese. Just because, plain white pasta, depending on how we have it, it's great to have that. Like, I'm not dissing it. I love having plain pasta, and I love having things from cacio e pepe to mac and cheese to even aglio olio, simple pastas. But when you're talking about like teenage boys and they're hungry and they're active, I was trying to find ways that would give them protein. And so one way was using the chickpea pasta. And in any event, I digress. So we are going to be making a great chickpea snack. And you can buy these things at the store, and it is so much cheaper to make them at home. So what I've done already, so what we're going to do is we're going to dry these out, and I'm going to start one of our other sweet treats while these are drying, because this is going to take some time drying and then cooking. So I'm going to show you some hacks. So right here we just have, and I'm dripping all over. We just have some chickpeas that I've rinsed and drained. Although you can see it was dripping just a little bit. Let me get one more little thing here. And then what we're going to do is a good hack you could just let them dry out. You could put them on a towel, let them dry, but it might take anywhere from a half hour to more. I guess a half hour probably would do it, but if you want to speed things up, what I would do is I would pour them out. These have been draining for a little bit. Pour them out onto a paper towel, shake them around a bit on a plate, and then what we're going to do is we're going to actually put these, I'm just going to dry them a little. We are going to put these in the air fryer to dry out. So before we even do any seasoning, we're going to get these dry. And if you put it in at, I think it's 380, 380 for 3 to 5 minutes, they'll dry out, and then you can do your next step. So you can just put them on a regular towel or paper towels to just sit out, a single layer to dry for a half hour, or to speed it up, you can put them in your air fryer. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to use this liner. These are great liners, and we're going to do that right now. So let's get our air fryer. We've got everything all set up here. So this is our sole savory snack of the day, only because of this stinking sweet tooth I've got going on. So I'm just going to pour these in. These have not been seasoned. They've not been oiled, because our objective is to dry them. So I used a liner. You don't have to use a liner, but for these I'm going to use a liner, and I'm just spreading them out into one layer, and we're going to put them back in. I'm going to put them at 380 for 3 to 5 minutes. So I'll check them halfway through and see how they're doing. And again, our aim for doing this first part is just to get them dry, because that will help in the final cooking. So let me get this started, put 380. I'm going to do, go down to 5 minutes and check them halfway. There we go. Okay, so it'll beep when we're ready. So that's our first step. So let me move this out of the way. And yeah, so these are from Hubs. These were his Valentine's flowers, and so I had them on our kitchen table. Well, I guess it's really our only table in the condo. So it's our dining room table, I guess. But we don't have a formal dining room. It's just our dining room table, and these were the flowers from Hubs. Archie, welcome. You know what? With all the flavors and hummus that they have here now, that would be really good, actually. Fries would be delicious dipped in a lot of these hummus flavor combinations. Welcome, Archie. Please tell Amy I said hi, too. Oh, thank you, GS. I know, as I've said to you, and Archie, you pipe in, too, however you feel. I love my air fryer. I use it in so many different ways, and it is regularly working in my kitchen. And, it uses less energy than our oven. It puts off less heat than our oven. So especially being in a small condo, it really helps not have our cooking dictate our temperature inside. But it also is an energy saver too, which means lower bills, which we all could use right now. And let's see here. Barb. You've eaten your first ever sourdough pizza. Oh, that sounds phenomenal. So we had pizza last night. We were at my sister's this weekend, and we came home last night, and we ordered pizza from one of our favorite new places. It's not new, but new to us. For just like when you feel like pizza, when it's, want to order and you either pick up or have delivered. And that is, and I know we're late to this game, so any of you from Philly, like give me a little bit of grace, but it is Del Rossi's, and my son introduced me to them, and I am going to definitely, we ate too fast before I could take pictures, but I will be sharing some of that information on my social media about them, because for cheesesteaks and pizza, oh my gosh, but their pizza is what I really, really, really love. I love that though, Arch. And I'll tell you, sadly, my sourdough starters, they are hating me right now. They look really scary. Maybe I'll show you later. Okay, so I'm going to check and see how our chickpeas are, and we'll start onto our next recipe. So it's just been 2.5 minutes. Okay, you know what? They are almost, I think they're about dry. Let me just feel them. Yeah, I'm just going to let them, there's just a little bit of moisture on some. I'm just going to let them go 1 more minute, and we are going to grab those. So let me tell you about our next recipe. Actually, no, because we're going to be seasoning them in a second. Let me tell you how we're going to season them. So this is the seasonings. Now, you can season these chickpeas however you want. You can use whatever oil you want. You can use whatever fat you want. You can have it be coconut oil. You can have it be olive oil. Neutral oil, depending upon what you're doing. You could, I was just thinking this off the cuff, Archie. It could be chili crisp, like that, like those flavors. It can be whatever you want. But after they're dry, that's when we're going to get to seasoning them. So I'm going to actually grab them right now because I think they're dry. And they are. So now I'm going to divvy them up. I want to divide them into 2 sections. And the reason being, and that's my other bowl. The reason being that I want to get 2 flavors here for us to try. So I've done things like za'atar, which is delicious. I've done smoked paprika, which is delicious. I'm trying to think what else I've done. Just some basic seasonings. But I kind of wanted to get a little more creative with this one. So I'm putting my liner back in. And what I did, because I want these to stay divided, is I cut one of my liners in half. So I can have half of my chickpeas be one flavor. Let me show you what we're going to do here. And half of them be another flavor. See what I'm doing there? So some will stay on one side and some will stay on the other side. So let me just keep this here to stay a little warm. By the way, tip, never, ever, never warm up your air fryer with those liners in, because it's a burning hazard. They will burn. They will scorch. So we have half of our chickpeas. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to add some whatever fat you want to add. On these, I'm going to do olive oil. No, this is my olive oil. So I actually keep it in a cruet. This has like a really little stream, so I can really control how much olive oil. Let's see. Okay. And then I'm doing this riff off of my favorite ways to season popcorn. So you're going to get kind of 2 recipes in one. And one of my favorite ways to season popcorn is with salt. So I'm just doing a pinch of salt there. Do as heavy as, like, you season it the way you want to season it, right? And then I'm doing little sprinkles of white pepper. White pepper, y'all know, I just love. And on popcorn with white pepper, salt, and then after they come out, and they're cooked. We're gonna put some Parmesan cheese, toss them in that. It is so good on popcorn, and I wanna try it with chickpeas, so I'm gonna keep that there. So I'm not putting the parm on yet because I want that to be an actual, last second toss. Okay, so these are ready, oopsie. These are ready to go. And then on this one, I'm using a Nutri-Oil. So this is one of my sprays that has a Nutri-Oil, so I'm just gonna give it some sprays. And in this bowl, and I don't, I would love to give whoever, I don't know about y'all, but I look at recipes and things all the time. And I had seen someone talk about, and I think it was for chickpeas, the idea of wasabi and salt. And I love wasabi. So I have wasabi powder, use wasabi powder. So I'm going to sprinkle some wasabi powder on. I'm gonna do it with my fingers because it'll help distribute a little more. So wasabi is gonna give that nasal heat, right? It's kind of like an Asian horseradish. That's what we have when you're having sushi and things. I'm not sure if that's quite enough, so I'm gonna put some salt on. And that's gonna be our seasonings on these, is wasabi powder and salt. And have you ever had wasabi peas? They're one of my favorites. In fact, I'll show you because I actually have some. We had it at the Super Bowl party. We are still flying high here in Philadelphia after that Super Bowl parade. Oh my goodness, on Friday, I'd never done anything like that, and that was amazing. So much fun and so exciting to celebrate with the team in the streets. So I am not sure. I'm just doing some pinches of the wasabi powder, and now the key is I got to figure out which one's which. So I think what I'm going to do is it's going to be how I put them in. Because I'll forget, and then I'll toss the wasabi with the Parmesan. Maybe I'll make a new thing, who knows. Okay, so let me get this back over here. I'm gonna keep that on one side, so I put these in that way. So this is wasabi. So I'm gonna put wasabi in the special section. So I'm putting let me put the other ones in first. So I'm putting the other peas on the side, the regular side, and try to keep them to a side. Then we're putting the wasabi peas, chickpeas here. Okay. So and I guess I can taste them if I forget. So that's not bad. Okay. So then what I'm doing, I'll show you in a second. I am just spreading these apart because I want them to be able to crisp up then. So let me show you. This was the other one. Okay. Let me show you what I did here, friends. So you can see here I have the wasabi. Here I have the white pepper and salt and olive oil. This is wasabi, salt, and Nutri-Oil. I think it's like avocado oil, but it could be canola, anything that doesn't have a strong flavor. And then this is going back in at 380 for 12 to 15 minutes. So we'll just check it. We'll check it at about 8 minutes and see how it's doing. Let me get that in. So let me get my time. 1 second. Okay, so I'm putting it at 15 for now, and then we'll check it. All righty. So there we go. So those are going to cook. So let me see what y'all are saying while we let those cook and talk about our next sweet snack. And I want to know, do you guys have a sweet tooth? When you have a snack calling, is it more sweet or is it more savory? Whoopsie. Put this there. Okay, let's see what y'all are saying. Never made sourdough ever before. I started it 10 days ago. Congratulations. That was one of the best things I ever learned from my niece Erica. I'm so appreciative that she taught me that. Yes, that parade was amazing. I never found out what the final count was, but people, based upon the visuals, they think it was well over 1 million people. And when I tell you there was so much love, like I'm not kidding, just there was so much love, where we were, there were all different kinds of people, all different walks of life, and everyone was in the best mood and just happy together. And isn't that like a, what's the word I want to say, metaphor for I wish how life could be. Archie tried many times. Well, wonderful. Congratulations. I love that for you. That's awesome. And then DS was talking about the sourdough. Congrats, Archie. And DS said, when I lived in Brooklyn for a few years when I was younger, the West Indians from Trinidad had fried chicken peas, seasoned fried chicken peas in a bag. So yummy. Oh, let me show you those wasabi peas. And I know probably some of you love them. These, so these are wasabi peas. Now that's not what we're making today, but I love wasabi peas. So I kind of wanted to see if this kind of reminded me a little bit, and I'm feeling I might need to actually use more wasabi powder. But like, you gotta kind of try it, and like I said, I've never done this one before. I've done the crispy chickpeas, but never this specific one. So these are actual like dried peas, and then the white stuff is where the wasabi is, and it's like a coating. So like this one's like half coated, and that has like a little bit of a heat. This one is mostly coated. That one's hot. And they're so good. They're almost a little sweet, and then the spice kicks in. They're so yummy. Too much Prosecco makes a chickpea. Wasabi peas can be evil. Yeah, they can get you when you're least expecting them. All right, so now let's make some sweet stuff. So the first thing we're gonna be making is something that I've been dying to try. I was eyeing it, and this is one thing I wanted to try in front of you all, and I will give you the honest, you know I will. I'll give you my honest take on it. And it's called Reese's balls. No jokes, Archie. And these Reese's balls are kind of like a take on a Reese's cup, but they're rolled up into a ball shape. And being from Ohio, I liken them to something called Buckeyes. So Ohio State is a school that has loyal fans, kind of the way Philadelphia is. You know, we have fans all over the country that live and they're still loyal to Philadelphia Eagles. Ohio State football's like that too. So growing up in Ohio, I was born in Jersey. We moved to Ohio. My parents were from Ohio. So I grew up, of my childhood, I grew up about half of the time, maybe, yeah. Was it? No, not quite half. But it was a good portion of the time in Ohio, and that's where I started teaching. And so became big Ohio State fans. And Buckeyes are this, it's kind of like a take on a Reese's cup, but it's in a ball form. It's this delicious peanut butter inside, and they're enrobed in chocolate, right? So good. So this is a take on it, but a healthier take. So I'm gonna show you that right now. And what the ingredients are is something called peanut butter powder. Now I just got this at my grocery store, and peanut butter powder has 90% less fat. So the reason it becomes a little more healthy is because, you know, obviously peanut butter is healthy, and if you're aware of amounts and all that kind of stuff, especially when you're using a less sweet peanut butter. But this actually even makes it where you can have more of them technically, and it's not going to be as bad. Plus, for 2 tablespoons of this, the protein is, and I need my glasses. Let me get my glasses, just a second. For 2 tablespoons, and by the way, Hubs, speaking of health, Hubs is working out right now, so that's why he's not here. Oh, here it is. So 6 grams. So 6 grams, so there is protein still in it, and there's protein in peanut butter too, but there is only 1.5 grams of fat in 2 tablespoons. So what this creator does, her name is Alissa Steinberg, and she is a dietitian, and she has an Instagram at Healthy You Dietitian, and that is all this information is below in the description. I put stuff for the chickpeas, put the stuff for this, for everything I'm making except for the last one, because I did forget to put that in. And I call them healthy Buckeyes, and so I'm anxious to try these and see if I can have one of my favorite treats be a healthier version. And we're going to be mixing the powdered peanut butter with unsweetened applesauce. And that's how we're going to be making the actual peanut butter balls. And then we're going to be dipping them in melted chocolate. So that is how we're going to be doing that. And we're going to put a little bit of coconut oil in just to help it stay shiny. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to just get my chocolate chips in there. I like using, I think a lot of you know, I love Ghirardelli's. Use your favorite chocolate. And I like Ghirardelli's 60%. If you like milk chocolate, you know, use milk chocolate. I'm a dark chocolate girl, and I like their 60% one. I'm going to do actually a little more than half a cup because I'm going to need this chocolate for one of her other recipes. So I'm going to make sure I make plenty of that. So, and I'm going to heat this up. I'm going to get this melting in my microwave. You can do this in a double boiler, which is where you put this in a pan over some simmering water in a pot over your stove, but I do the microwave. Now, I will tell you, when you are making candy, you know, maybe you're making bark for Christmas or for holiday or for birthday, or you're making another kind of chocolate treat. There is something that's called tempering that you should keep in mind. I have a love-hate relationship with tempering, T-E-M-P-E-R-I-N-G. And I find that when I think I'm actually tempering it, it still comes out and gets a little bit ashy after a few days. For this, I'm not going to worry about it because, you know, this is not to give as a gift. This is for me to have, to bring to work, so I have a healthy, you know, sweet treat when I'm at work after I've had my lunch or a snack. I'm going to check on them. Let's check together, see how our chickpeas are doing. And then we'll start mixing the peanut butter with the applesauce. Okay, so you can see they've gotten a little smaller. I'm just going to touch them, see how they are. Yeah, so they're drying out, but they're not crispy yet. So we need to put them back in, and then we're going to let them go, okay? Let's come on back. All right, so back to this. I'm going to get these in. You do want to make sure that your chocolate does not burn. It can burn easily in the microwave, so if you're not accustomed to that, you want to keep a close eye on it. So like I just put it in for a minute, and I'll be checking on it in just a little bit. The first thing I need to do though is I want to get this bowl washed that we had done our chickpeas in, because I want to use that actually to mix up the applesauce with the peanut butter powder. All right, let's see how that's doing. So anyways, did you all tell me whether you tend to go for savory snacks or sweet snacks? I don't remember. Let me check the chat. Okay, so this is after 40 seconds, and you can see that's starting to melt the end. Let me dry this. So I'm going to give it just a little stir with my spatula. Give it a little stir and put it back in. Okay. All right, I'm going to put it in for about another 30 seconds. Meanwhile, I'm going to measure out 1 cup of the peanut butter powder into our bowl. One thing I noticed when people, because I tell you, always look at comments, because I think it's good to get some information from people that are trying the recipe. And one thing some people had trouble with when they were trying the recipe is it wasn't dry enough. So they were having trouble making the balls stick with their shape. So what I'm going to do is I want to make sure, I don't want to add all of the applesauce right away. So let me show you how this looks now. So you can see now I think I did about 30 more seconds and it's movement, but there's still some solid chips. And since we don't need it right away, I'm actually just going to go let it sit in the warm microwave and wait. I'm turning everything off, and it'll continue to melt while we're making these. So I'm going to get our 1 cup of peanut butter powder. So I'm just measuring this up. Whoop, making a mess. Okay, so 1 cup. And then, like I said, a half cup of applesauce. So what I want to make sure about, and it does smell good. I mean, it smells, oh well, there's my floor. Oh, and I need to add this to it. Let me add a little bit of coconut oil. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. I do want to add a little bit of coconut oil to this chocolate to help it be glossy. So she said 1/8 tablespoon, so I'm just going to put just a little chunk there. Now, if you don't have coconut oil, you could put a little bit of another, just a drip of another oil in there. It's just to help make it shiny. And I'm going to check the chickpeas. Let's see. Oh, they're getting there. Okay. So I think they might need the full 15 minutes. And then I'm just going to, with my spatula, with this chocolate, I'm just going to let that go in there, and that's going to melt in there along with it and help it be a little more shiny. So again, let's put the chocolate back in to sit tight. So we have 1 cup of peanut butter powder, and then we're going to do a 1/2 cup of unsweetened applesauce. I do not go through a lot of applesauce, so I do buy it this way so it stays fresh, and that makes it convenient for me for these purposes. So I'm going to get a spoon. And again, I don't want to put all this in, and she actually did some mixing with her hands. So let me get some of this in and see what happens, see how this comes together. Because we want it to be like a dough, you know, like a firm dough that we can roll into a ball. And so I think what might have happened with some of the other people is maybe, you know, when you're talking about dry measurements, we talk about this in baking all the time, depending on how it's been kind of sifted or fluffed out. So this is still, as you can see, it's too crumbly. It's not going to form a ball. So I can put some more applesauce in. And that's what I would do. I would just kind of add a little bit at a time until it just comes together. Because that's the role of the applesauce. The role of the applesauce is providing some moisture so that this can be made into little balls. I think we might be there. Yeah, so now what I'm going to do, and I have some more if I want to add it, is I'm going to use my fingers now for this and just start rolling. So, let me think. I'm going to get, because this is where I want to put them when I've dipped them in chocolate. And I'm missing my chat, so let's see. Dia says, I go to sweets when I get the munchies. Not good. I gained some weight. I've been looking for alternatives to cakes, cookies, ice cream, and donuts, and brownies and pies, and oh my, right? Yes, I love that. Freeze banana and some ice and honey blended. It's just like ice cream. Yes, banana can absolutely mimic ice cream when you do that. I've seen that done before. And we're going to be using a banana in 2 of our recipes, so that might be, you might enjoy that as well. Okay, so I'm going to now start trying to roll this. So what I'm doing, let me show you how it looks now. See, and it's got a little dry on the bottom. So I'm taking my hands, and what I'm trying to do is incorporate all this dry peanut butter powder into this moist mixture so that I can then roll it. And there's some stubborn powder right there, so I'm just wanting to get that all together and incorporate it. I don't know if you see, I'm just making this ball. And even with this case, I will tell you that this ball is probably, it could be drier. So I probably could have added a little bit less of the applesauce. So do not add that full 1/2 cup. Add half of it and then add only until you get a firm mixture like that, all right? So then what we're gonna do is we are going to, and this is a little sticky, so I'm trying to think. I'm wondering if I could just, let me wash my hands and see if getting this off, it helps it not stick to me. Or if I need to do something like I don't think I want to add water because that's only going to add more moisture, but let me see if I want to add maybe a little bit of oil just to my hands just so it doesn't stick so much. Okay. So now we're going to take this. Oh, and they're ready. Whoop, we're going to break and take a look at these chickpeas. Okay, so these definitely should be ready. So look at that. They are all browned and crispy. So now let me taste and see which ones are which, because I think I've forgotten already. Okay, those taste regular. Oh, I think those are the wasabi. Are the wasabi here, friends? Is that what we said? To be honest, I don't think I had enough seasoning because they're not all that different. I would have definitely added more wasabi, and that's good to know. So you can go heavier with that. And maybe I'll try to add some more with that. So what I'm going to do is first toss this with Parmesan cheese because that's important. So let me give you a little tip. We'll pause our peanut butter balls for a second. And let me give you a little tip about the wasabi. About these chickpeas. What you don't want to do is you don't want to overcook them, because if you overcook them, what you're actually doing then is almost turning them back into the dried chickpea, and you're going to totally lose a filling on that. So be mindful of that when you're cooking. You want them crispy, but you want them still fluffy inside, if that makes sense. Okay, so let me see if I can get these. So these were the wasabi ones. Put those there. There's a couple that were down there. And I think I'm going to add even more wasabi to that because it's so faint. I wasn't sure how that was going to translate, you know, if it was going to come off super spicy. I was a little worried about that. So I'm going to add a little more of that. And I want to add my Parmesan cheese here. So let me get my Parm cheese. I'm telling you, that white pepper just seasons it so nicely. It really does. And what's nice about the white pepper also is it is so fine. It's like a powder. Okay. So here is our white pepper, salt, and Parmesan cheese, crispy chickpeas. And here I'm going to add just a little bit more oil and more of that wasabi powder. Actually, let me do the powder first because I want more heat. And this is all, you know, according to how you like it, but this could definitely use more heat. I mean, I can barely taste any kind. I can barely tell it's wasabi. Let me see how that does. Okay. Whoop. Oh, that's better. Still not hot. I mean, I think you can go pretty heavy on this wasabi powder. Let me taste. Yeah, I would say this isn't hot at all. Like, it's not like those. So if you like wasabi, be generous. I'm gonna have to work on that. I'm gonna play with that because to me, I wanted that to be more flavorful, which is why I tried it because I wanted to see. But these, again, this is my favorite way to do popcorn. White pepper, salt, and I do it in a mix of coconut oil and butter. And this is Parmesan. Let me see. Oh, yeah. So you get that salty kick from not only the salt, but that Parmesan cheese, and then that white pepper. It just gives it that something, something. These are my favorite ones of the two. Very good. Highly recommend those. Wasabi, this did not meet my expectations, so I'm going to need to play with this more. It just kind of runs flat. I just was expecting more flavor. So I don't, unless you want to play with it more, of course, I don't recommend this wasabi as big flavor hits. They need more work. So, and again, if you're doing popcorn, highly recommend doing that same thing. So let's get back to the peanut butter balls. I'm going to wash my hands since I've been eating food. Let's get back to that. Okay, let me tidy up a little bit. Got peanut butter powder all over the place. Okay. So these peanut butter balls, so that's been resting a little bit. Maybe that'll actually help make it easier to work with. And of course, I washed my hands so I don't have any of the residue. And what I want to do now is just roll out little balls that we're going to dip in the chocolate that's in there. So we're just going to take apart little pieces and just roll them in our hands. So it probably is about a tablespoon. See? There you go. So just make these little balls. You can make these, you know, as big or as small as you'd like, but this is probably about a tablespoon. And then we're going to dip them in chocolate. So have you guys ever heard of Buckeyes, the candy that I was talking about that's really popular in Ohio? Archie. Oh my gosh, bourbon and bananas. I don't know about that. What do they do? What is the, is it rum, the liquor they do with Bananas Foster? I think that's rum, right? Oh, I have not had Bananas Foster in a long time. That is a very decadent way of eating bananas. We're going to look at much healthier ways. And yes, I think you're going to like this. So again, these are just a healthier way to kind of get that Reese's peanut butter cup feeling using the powdered peanut butter. And I will let you know if this gives me Philly approval. There we go. And so right now I think it's going to make about 9 of the peanut butter balls. 2 are going to be a little smaller than the other ones, but that's okay. All right, so now we've made the balls. And then I'm going to let these sit because I'm going to need that chocolate for something else I'm making that involves banana. This is the thing I was telling you, DS, that I think you will enjoy. And this was a treat that I put on social media that I tried. So this one I know is absolutely fabulous. And let me get our ingredients. So I need, oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay, so these are going to sit and wait to be dipped in just a little bit. Let me put those aside. Now, who likes Snickers? Who likes Snickers? Snickers are, you know, that's a candy bar from my childhood for sure. And if people didn't like peanuts, they didn't like Snickers. But if you liked peanuts, you absolutely liked Snickers. So I'm not sure if we have any fans here, but I will tell you that this is even better than Snickers. And DS, I'm talking to you on this one. It's even better than Snickers. I made these and saved some for Hubs when he came for work. I made them in January. And he was like, oh my gosh, they are so good. You know, and it's so much, first of all, you know the ingredients that are going in here. It does involve banana. It involves peanut butter. It involves maple syrup, some crushed peanuts, and involves some flaky sea salt. And they are so delicious. So this was created by, let me get her name. I know I've already put it on, I think on Blue Sky and on Instagram. But this was created by Alissa Ladhani, and her page is at Wake Up and Kale. And I think she does a lot of healthy recipes. It might even be vegetarian, I'm not sure. But she does a lot of healthy recipes. And these she called banana Snickers, and they are absolutely delicious. And so what we're going to first do is we are going to cut the bananas, or a banana. You can make as many as you want. I'm going to make half of her recipe. The recipe's below. I'm going to have it because I'm making so many. I don't want to have so many treats that we just inhale them all today, and then they become less a treat and more tragic. So anyways, let's just take a ripe banana. There we go. Take a ripe banana. And you make it how you like. I mean, I feel like bananas are very personal as far as people. Some people like them really ripe. Some like I like just a nice yellow banana. I like it that way because then it's not too sweet, but you do you. And then you're going to cut it in half, and then you're going to slice it lengthwise in half. So what you're going to have then are these little banana sections, like so. So in half, and then in half again. And that's going to create our base, okay? Next, we are going to make a concoction that is supposed to replicate the caramel. Is it caramel? No. Does it taste exactly like caramel? No. But it gives you definitely that caramel feeling, and it has the peanut butter in it, so it gives more of that peanut butter flavor. And it also, the peanut butter gives it more stability, so it doesn't like fall off. So what we're going to do is we are going to take 1 part maple syrup to 2 parts peanut butter. So depending upon what you're making, let me get a little, I'm using all my spatulas today. It is definitely a spatula day. So I'm gonna, so whatever peanut butter I put in here, I'm gonna put half that amount of maple syrup. If you wanna make this healthier, you don't have to use the maple syrup. I mean, that's the thing that's great about recipes. You don't have to do any of this, right? You can make it your own. You can make it exactly how you want it to be health-wise, but it is really good, I will tell you, with the maple syrup. It sounds really weird, but the maple syrup just further sweetens the peanut butter. And if you're using a natural peanut butter, I would very much recommend definitely putting a little sweetener in it. So I'm going to use, that's 2 parts peanut butter, 1 part maple syrup, real maple syrup, by the way. There we go. And then you're just gonna mix it. So let me show you what happens when you mix it. So you mix it all up, and it's just to mimic a caramel. Again, we're just having fun here. We're creating some good flavors that mimic some of our favorite candy bars, and we're making them healthier by using whole foods. So then we're going to spread this mixture on top of each of the bananas. To do that. Whoops. It's messy, which is fun. Cooking is fun because that way, let's see, get this on there. Let me put this on. Oopsie. Oh, I am making a mess. Dear Lord. Okay. There we go. And we'll get this on, and I'll finish smearing that one. Trying to go fast here, but you can make it as pretty as you want. So you're smearing the top of the banana. I think I need to fix the one. And I'm making a mess. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Ugh, but I'm telling you, these are good. And now I'm going to have to clean up my fingers. All right, and I'm going to make this one look a little bit better because it kind of looks a bit messy. Okay, there we go. So this, you can do a much nicer job than I did, but you're smearing. Oh. I mean, how bad is that? Oh, that's good. I did not eat a ton of lunch today because I knew I was just going to be snacking. Okay. Now, after that, we need the chocolate portion. I just bit my lip, by the way. I just bit my lip. So if my lip swells, you'll know why. We're going to need the chocolate for these, and we're going to need the chocolate for these. So first, let me do the drizzle for these. There's our chocolate. And those solids have now fully incorporated. Let me show you. See? It's smooth as can be. Can you see? Smooth as can be. Look at that. Okay. All right. And we have our coconut oil in there. And then all we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're just going to drizzle. We're going to drizzle it over. Back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. I don't think that one has quite enough. Need a little bit more. Okay. And we're going the other one. Back, forth, back, forth. So we're not looking to cover these. We're just looking to give you that chocolate. Oh my goodness, my lip. Just looking to get that chocolate, that yummy chocolate part. You can have them drip a little on the sides, like that's fine, but we aren't looking to totally enrobe. And then at the top, we are going to be putting some chopped peanuts and some flaky salt. I'm telling you, that flaky salt really, it does it. So I got out my fleur de sel. You can get it if you have any other, if maybe you have kosher salt, that would also be good. If you don't have, you know, one of a good flaky salt, that would be fine too. And if you don't have that, just put regular table salt. The salt really does help. I think my lip is bleeding. Then we're going to take our chopped peanuts and we're going to sprinkle those on top so we get the crunchy. And then they're going to stick to that chocolate, right? And then these are going to go in the freezer. Once we get the salt on here too, these are going to go in the freezer. That is, now this would be delicious to eat right now. And it would be delicious if you just put it in the refrigerator until the chocolate hardened and then eat it. But what's nice about putting in the freezer for like an hour, so we're going to eat these at the end, is that it hardens the banana, so it gives you more of that sense of like a candy bar, if that makes sense. So I'm not going to take my little sea salt, sprinkle, just a little bit. Just a little salty bite. There we go. And they are done. So these are our banana Snickers. And we're gonna put them in the freezer. So let me get them in the freezer here and we'll taste them at the end. So they can firm up and become more like a candy bar. So that one's done. So that tasting will come. Let me tidy up a little bit. And now we're gonna dip these peanut butter balls. We have that rest there. Oh my goodness, my lip, friends. Goodness gracious. I think I'm gonna have a fat lip. Hubs is gonna come home, he's gonna be like, what happened? I'm gonna be like, the live stream gave me a fat lip today. Let's see what I've missed. So good question. Cup question. So Archie said, has Hub's nutritionist given him permission to eat these spicy snacks? Well, I am his nutritionist, so I insist that he eats spicy snacks, although wasabi was very disappointing. I need to work on that. I just thought adding wasabi powder and salt, but I'm going to need to get some measurements because I think we need more wasabi. But these aren't spicy at all. They're just yummy. They're just tasty. And then DS says, I saw a pic on Instagram of you walking what looked like a bulldog. Did you get a new dog? So we didn't. We were actually dog sitting. My lip. I'm so sorry. I got to take a peek. I have a mirror right here. Oh my goodness. I bit my lip. I got to show y'all because I don't know if you'll see. So it's right under here. I bit my lip. Like there's a puncture right there. Tooth went right in. I digress. So we were watching this sweet bulldog named Louise, and we started watching her after Thanksgiving, and then I had my health issues, and which involved being in the hospital over the holidays. So Louise had to go home. Well, her owner wasn't home, so she went home with another part of the family that watched her. And then because of me recovering and just some things being uncertain for a little bit, we just couldn't finish watching her, which I felt really bad about because we really enjoyed it. And Hubs loved watching her. Oh my gosh. I never actually spent much time with the bulldog, and they have the biggest personalities. They are such loves. I didn't realize how affectionate bulldogs are, and they absolutely want to be the star of the show. So if you're ever interested in a dog and you want one that wants to be star of the show, wants to give you tons of attention and demands it in return, get a bulldog. But she was very good and very sweet. She loved her walks, and she would strut around Philly. I would walk her. I've never had a dog garner so much attention as Louise did. People, men, women would just stop and smile at this bulldog. It was absolutely adorable. I mean, it was very fun. So sadly, we weren't able to finish. But yes, we did watch her for a while. And DS says, I love these ideas. I have all the ingredients. Wonderful. So let's get these now dipped. So we have our melted chocolate, which I'm going to just add a little bit of heat because I feel like this has gotten a little cold. So I'm just going to put it in for just about 10 seconds because I feel like it gets thicker, there we go. I feel like it gets thicker as it gets cooler, and I want it to be a nice thin coating. I don't want it to be too thick, so I'm just going to put it in for an additional 10 seconds to re-warm it up a little bit. Okay. So just to add a little bit of heat. Of course, if you were on a double boiler, you wouldn't have to worry about that because it'd be helping keeping it warm. Okay, so there is our chocolate. So now all we're going to do is we are going to I'm going to get 2 forks because I think forks work really well for this. And we are going to get these little peanut butter balls, and we're going to just dip them, and then we're going to place them. So that way we can get the excess chocolate off, and then we're just going to plop them down. And then we're going to get another one, dip, turn, drain, get the excess chocolate, and there we go. See? Easy peasy. So this will take no time to get these all covered in chocolate. And then I am going to put these in the refrigerator because that'll help the chocolate harden a little faster. And frankly, I'm thinking that these might be best stored in the fridge also. So that would be my guess. Okay, so we're just getting these all in. Yeah, what I like about the snacks we're doing today is a lot have ingredients that we already have. So it's just kind of how do we utilize them? Okay, we're getting these done. And to let you know what's next after this is we are going to be making my famous, not famous because everyone does this, but my famous fruit and yogurt granola parfaits. And these, when I tell you, are my go-to snack. Like I bring one of these to school every day that I work, and I'm having that in between when I had breakfast and before I have my lunch. And it is such a great snack. One of the things when I was recovering was I was really craving fruit, which is a wonderful thing. I've never eaten so much fruit in the wintertime. And what's wonderful is these can be made year-round, these parfaits, and what I think is best is using the fruit that is, kind of in season. And we all know that's like always a good thing to do, right? Now my chocolate is getting a little bit lean here, so I'm just gonna use this to help turn them to get them fully covered. There we go. My hands are gonna get a little chocolatey, but that's okay. This is what makes cooking fun, right? You get to play with your food. And when you're playing with chocolate, like, how bad is that? Okay, just getting this fully covered. The last one's gonna be really challenging because we're running low on our chocolate, but it's okay, we got this. Just trying to get that extra chocolate off, and then one more left. Let's get that in, and I'm gonna use my spatula. I think that will actually help get all that chocolate off the edge. And so yeah, so this is definitely using, because she put in there a half cup of chocolate chips. I think I had a little bit more, but I know we did a drizzle on the banana stickers, so there was that too. Okay. And now, I'm gonna take this one. There we go. Okay, now we're gonna put these in the fridge. Let me show you. Oh my gosh, all this chocolate. Ah, okay, I gotta wash. So we're gonna take those, put them in the fridge to firm up, and we'll try those. I think we'll try those after the parfait. I think we'll try them at the parfait. So let me show you. So here are the Reese's balls, or what we like to call in Ohio, these are healthy Buckeyes. And they're gonna go in our fridge. Okay. Oh my, what should I do with this chocolate fork? That's what I should do. Dark chocolate is supposed to be healthy, right? And it's so funny. You see all these studies about dark chocolate supposed to be healthy, and then we have to worry about what's the thing latest, like that it's not lead, it's arsenic. I mean, there's something just we have to figure out how to make food more healthy again. Meaning, like I think how we're sourcing it, and then what's going on in the process, because we should not have to worry about our chocolate having other ingredients in it that aren't healthy, right? It should just be good chocolate. Oh, if Hubs was here, he would take this plate and he would finish that. So, sorry Hubs, I gotta put water on there. Okay, so our next recipe is the fruit and yogurt parfaits. So, the ingredients you're gonna need is you need some fruit and you need some yogurt. I'm gonna show you the different options you have. Just show you some options. Okay, so what I like to do is sometimes I like to, first of all, if you absolutely love the tang of yogurt and that tang, like you don't have to add a sweetener to it. That's totally up to you. I do personally like a little sweetener with my yogurt, so there's a couple things you can do. So you could just get plain and you could add your sweetener of choice that you wanted to. It could be honey, it could be a simple syrup. As you saw, I had a cinnamon simple syrup that I used that was with the Honeycrisp apples. Oh my gosh, that was so good. Highly recommend. So the layers that we're gonna be making in a moment, we used the yogurt sweetened with the cinnamon simple syrup. I cut up my Honeycrisp apples with the skins just into bite-sized, like kind of thin bite-sized pieces, and we layered it with, I think I used protein granola for that. That was excellent. I never thought like apples and yogurt, but it really was good. You also can buy yogurt, Greek yogurt, and Greek yogurt is what I'd recommend because it has the most protein. Greek yogurt that is flavored already with vanilla. This is a honey vanilla one, and so there is sugar in that. So depending upon what your health needs are, you need to look at the sugar, and just it's good to read labels and know kind of what you're putting in. The other thing my sister turned me on to is, and I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, but skyr or skyr, it's S-K-Y-R. It's like a Greek yogurt. This is by Icelandic Provisions, so it's just very much like a Greek yogurt. This one is vanilla, and so you could use this one. So I love, generally, unless I'm doing the apples, and it still would be good with the apples, but I love the cinnamon take on it. I like the vanilla as a base. That just kind of, and you could add your own vanilla to your yogurt. You could, again, add the sweetener you want, add a little dash of vanilla extract if you want to get the vanilla. So lots of options. So you don't have to have these flavors. You can add flavors. Like there's a lot you can do. But what I usually do, if I'm trying to get out the house fast and make these ahead of time, I make them the night before, is my usual base is vanilla Greek yogurt. So that's what we're going to start with. So I'm going to go into here. I just got a new container. Because as you know, when you buy it in bulk, it's usually a better price too. All right. So today I'm going to be using, the fruit I'm going to be using are blueberries. By us, it is not blueberry season, but wherever we're getting them from, they've been especially good. I mean, look how big some of these blueberries are. I mean, they are big and they are sweet. Very good. So where we are, we've been lucking out. And the other thing I think it's nice to have with it is a little crunch. Now, if you make it fresh, it'll be crunchy with the granola. But I'll tell you, what's also good is when you make it ahead of time, it adds like that carby essence to it, but it does soften the granola, so just be wary of it. So if you want to still want some crunch, you can either save your granola and just add it when you eat it. You can layer it with the yogurt and fruit. Or I do like actually layering it because I love the different texture. It's just nice having all the different textures, whether it's crunchy, whether it's just carby. So this is one, there's different brands. This one is Nature Valley and it's protein, so it has more protein in their granola. So again, it just helps me stay fuller longer. The other thing that my sister got me onto is I love Kind bars, and I've had them for years. That's what we take. We take Kind bars when we go hiking because they travel well. They don't need refrigeration. You know, they're great for going on hikes. And she turned me on, because she's gluten-free, to these soft-baked Kind bars kind of things. And now these are actually clusters, but you can buy these in a little packet, and they have 2 little bars that are kind of softish. And these are little clusters. They call them chewy granola clusters, sorry. And this flavor is my favorite, and it's dark chocolate peanut butter. So I've made some with either of these, and they're both delicious. So my point is, use what you have. Maybe you have cereal. If you have Honey Bunches of Oats cereal, that's a cereal you could throw in there. Might not be as healthy as these, wouldn't have the protein, but if you just want a little crunch, like, you can do that. You can make your own granola, right? There's lots of options. Maybe you have some granola bars, break them up then. So there's just lots of different things you can do. Use what you have. But I do love adding a little bit something in it. And then all I do, this is one of the containers that I use. Now typically when I'm making it, I do because I'm also trying to not only eat healthy, but also, I mean, honestly, it's calorie in, it's calorie out. So I'm aware of how much I'm putting in. So typically when I am making, in fact, let me go look, because it's usually half of this. So usually when I'm making one of my snacks, just to, and, you know, and being a woman and my size, this is about 5.5 ounces. I use half of this for one. So because one of these is 130 calories, not that it's a lot of calories, but you just have to know what you're aiming for. You have to know your whole picture of what you're doing to try to be healthy. So, so just read labels, know what you're putting in. But this one that we have, this Greek yogurt, let's look at this label, because you do have to look. They're not always the same. So this one, 2/3 cup is 190 calories. So yeah, so I probably want to do, you know, I don't want to do any more than 1/2 cup for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 1/4 cup down below. And I like to mix it up so it kind of makes it creamy again, because it's quite firm when you get it. So I'm going to put, I'm just eyeballing it, about a 1/4 cup below. Okay. And then I'm going to add, I like adding my, my granola first because I like it to kind of absorb and lose a little bit of crunch, because it just, and so this one, by the way, is, let me look at the calories on this and the portions. 2/3 cup is, wait, there's some more information. Let me just look real quick. So for this granola, 2/3 cup is 270 calories. So that's a lot. So I'm not going to use, and actually I don't even, and so 1/3 is 120, and I actually don't even need that much. So I'm probably using here about a 1/3 cup would be my guess that I usually do in my snacks, but you do you. I just sprinkle some of it, and then I add my, so you can see I just sprinkle, then I add my fruit. Now the fruit is usually the least caloric, so like we want to, the fruit needs to be the star here, okay? And then I'm going to add a 1/4 cup more, spread it around, you can see, and then I'm going to add another sprinkle, okay, and then I'm going to add more fruit. And that's all she wrote. And so I said, like, if you're doing the cinnamon apple one, that one's a little more involved, but you can see we have the layers, the fruit, the granola, and these are delicious, I'm telling you. And this is all set to go for work tomorrow now. I'm not going to eat this one because I already know how good these taste, but the mixture of the creaminess and the fruit and then the crunchy, and in the granola there's a little sweet, like it is just delicious. So highly recommend this. And use your favorite fruits. I mean, I'm already, now that I'm like going, like I'm just eating so many of these, I can't wait for summer to come when the peaches are good and be able to put peaches in there. Like that's going to be delicious. So if you're not, using Greek yogurt, that's just something to keep in mind. And I'm going to do more Greek yogurt recipes because one thing I've made for years, due to Skinny Taste, who is someone that I love her recipes, Gina from Skinny Taste, is I have made those, I think they're 3-ingredient bagels that you make with Greek yogurt, not vanilla. You use regular Greek yogurt, and I'm going to make them sometime, maybe figure out some other Greek yogurt things to make that make different savory, dishes. And those are a great way because, again, it gives you the protein, and it's not going to at all be like a New York bagel or even a Philly bagel, but it still gives you that bagel feeling, and you can, then toppings, and you can make the flavors that you sprinkle on or that you add into the dough. So it's really, it's great. Greek yogurt should be having a moment, in my opinion. Okay, so I'm going to put this away. And I'm putting my parfait for tomorrow, my washed blueberries there. I don't know if that's ready yet. I don't know if my peanut butter, I don't know if the peanut butter balls are ready yet. So I'm gonna wait for that. So what have we made? We've made seasoned chickpeas. We made the ones with the white pepper and, which are my favorite, the white pepper, the salt, and the Parmesan cheese. Delicious. In the air fryer. You could do these in your oven. They just might need a little more tending, moving around, flipping. These would be great on a salad, by the way. I need something to drink. So we made that, and then we made the banana Snickers that we'll have at the end, so they can firm up a little bit. Then we made the Reese's peanut butter balls. Those are firming up in the fridge. The banana Snickers are firming up in the freezer. We'll taste those at the end. And I think I'm gonna go into the bonus content and we'll taste the last two things. So the bonus content has to do with the banana split. Okay, let me see what I missed. I know. Archie, I was waiting for you to say that, by the way. Your little, your suggestive comment. I was just waiting for the Archie comment on that because I knew Andy would be also being like, do you know what you're saying? So that's hysterical. So what was everyone's favorite snack or food you prepared at your Super Bowl party? So the favorite was the buffalo chicken dip. The only thing is, I will say, I don't know if y'all remember, but the inspiration for it was based on, and I can't remember the content creator now, that I put in the description of last time the stream was, but she was looking for a healthy snack that gave her all the feels and flavors of buffalo chicken. So it was really meant for, again, a good snack. So if you, and yes, that would be a savory thing. So if you go to the description and her recipe, how she makes this, it was individual snack cups, and then you dip celery in it. Or but if you don't like celery, you could dip cucumbers. You can dip red pepper. You know, there's a couple, whatever your favorite veggie is. But to keep it carb free, I think I just bit my lip again. Oh my word. But in any event, that was great. The problem is when it just seemed really thick. Remember when we were tasting it, it tasted good. So I added more. There was maybe a quarter of the container left of cottage cheese. I whizzed that up in the with the immersion blender, and I also softened about a half a brick of the low-fat cream cheese, and I added that. I felt like it needed more body. And I did add more blue cheese and more cheddar. So I definitely went from something that was healthy and made it unhealthy, but it was Super Bowl, so I didn't care. But it was so good. So doing that was so good. And I added more the buffalo sauce because it needed more of the sauce. And since I was adding more of those cheeses, I also added more of the ranch seasoning. So basically, what I would do is take her recipe, and I would make more sauce with either just the cottage cheese whizzed up, more seasoning, more buffalo, more cheese. Remember, and I added blue cheese. She did not. I do recommend the blue cheese with it. I love blue. If you don't like blue cheese, leave it out. But if you do, I recommend that in. But you needed that to kind of give it more body. It was very chickeny, which is great, but it was there was no body to it. So it felt almost too, it felt like it had too much meat, if that made sense. You needed like some more body so it would move and dip and all that. That was absolutely fabulous. And then the green onions on top, so good. So thanks for asking. Skier, thank you. So it is skier. I wasn't sure if it was skier or skyer, because being a phonics teacher, I know that Y can either be an I or a long E, a long I or long E. So thank you, DS. I appreciate it. So, and you said it's an Icelandic dairy product similar to yogurt, but technically classified as cheese. Yes, my sister had told me it was considered a cheese, but it tastes just like Greek yogurt. And it's made by fermenting skim milk with live cultures and straining it to achieve the thick, creamy consistency. And it is, I would agree, it is a little thicker than Greek yogurt, but tastes very similar. More whey. I'm trying to think of it. I'm trying to think if I noticed it being, I think if I had plain skyr, I would be able to know if it was less tart. I just noticed it being very similar myself, but it's interesting, it's considered. Okay, so this is the bonus recipe. So a content creator named Jen Jones on TikTok, she had 3 million views of this. It's called the air fryer or air fried banana split. Now, when I first heard about that, I had so many questions because I'm like, banana splits usually involve ice cream. You know what I mean? Like my head went a lot of different places. I was a little confused. But I was like, let me know about this. So I watched her TikTok, and I mean, I've been seeing a lot of content creators do it, but you know, I really like to go to the source if I can of who created the original recipe, and she does have an Instagram account, the Jen Jones on Instagram, but on TikTok, that's the one that went 3 million views. And it involves air frying a banana. So let me get this heated up. Preheated. So I'm going to show you the way to do it, although I will tell you I feel like there is a way that I would recommend trying, because there was one caveat when I made this. So you take a banana, and then you're going to split down the middle not going all the way to the end, either end. So you're going to follow down that line. And I do think this is better when it's more ripe. So these are just ripe. But, and then you're going to push down. And when you push down, I don't know if you can see, when you start pushing down, you see how that split opens, which is what you want. So then it makes like a boat, okay? So there we go. And I'm kind of splitting a little bit there. But you want that to open up a little bit. And then inside, we are going to be putting some different ingredients. Let me see here. I need some chocolate chips. I need some walnuts. You can use whatever nut you want. This is what she did. Oh, peanut butter. My peanut butter's right here. Okay. So the first thing you do is get some peanut butter. So we see a theme here. Peanut butter and bananas must go really well. So this is about a tablespoon of peanut butter. You're just gonna, you could use less, whatever. I'm just smearing the peanut butter in. Okay. There we go. Smear it in, all right? Then you're going to take your walnuts and you're just going to break them up, poke them in, give some crunchy. And you're probably not, I mean, you might be using like a tablespoon of them. And then you're going to take some chocolate chips. I'm going to use my dark ones, of course. And you're just going to kind of embed them. Okay? Now, I think she sprinkled some cinnamon on there, too. I'm not going to sprinkle. I love cinnamon, but I'm not going to sprinkle. I know Archie doesn't, but I'm not going to sprinkle the cinnamon. And that's all. That's all she wrote. So peanut butter, walnuts, chocolate chips. You could put cinnamon, but I'm going to refrain. And then you're going to put this in 400 for 5 minutes. So that's what we're going to do now. And then we are going to try that. So I'm going to put this in. I'm going to set it right in my air fryer. Five minutes. And we'll check it. And then there's a special ingredient you put on top that's going to help make it more of the banana split that we were talking about. Oh, my chocolate, that's all gotten hardened. So I think it's time to do some taste testing. So let me put this away, and let's get some of our products out while those are cooking. All right, so first on the docket, we have these lovely peanut butter balls. We are going to plate them. Break that off. Take off some of the extra if you want them to look a little bit nicer. Oh, that's fine. Okay. Yum. Okay. I'm telling you, you don't realize this. Remember when I bit my lip? I think I've bitten it at least 4 more times. So I'm lucky I don't have some skin hanging down. So here are our peanut butter balls. I'm really excited to try these because I'm just curious if they're going to be as good as Reese's. You know, not exactly, but just kind of. I'm going to do the small one. So let me try it. Wow. Oh. Oh, that's good. So, first of all, thumbs up. Let me get a napkin. Remember, this is not meant to be, this is meant to replicate a healthier version. So don't, and which I didn't expect the inside to taste just like a Reese's. But what I like is that the inside is actually quite, what's the word I want to use? Like it sticks with you. I don't know how to explain it. There's texture, there's flavor. It's not too sweet. If you want it sweeter, you could use sweetened applesauce. I think it's fine. Like to me, I wouldn't I wouldn't mind, like if I had sweetened applesauce, I wouldn't be like, oh, I need to go get unsweetened. But I think it's fine with unsweetened. I was just curious, like if it was gonna have enough sweetness. I think the chocolate gives enough sweetness since the inside is less sweet. Yeah, that is really good. And what I like is actually, I find it really filling. Like it's very, you know how when you have certain treats, sometimes you have one and you're like, I could have 10 of these. This one is kind of, I don't know if it's the right word, but unctuous. Like it kind of, it's very satisfying. Like I think these are great, and I would keep them in the fridge, and I think these are delicious, whether it's a treat or a snack, either way. And we can go to her site. I don't know how many calories these are all supposed to be, but I think she might list it on her site. And of course, you could always do the math. Like we did 9. So if we add up all the calories, we can do the math on that. But I definitely recommend these. Now, the peanut butter powder, that might be hard for you to find. That's the main thing, but you might want to see if you can get it online somewhere too. But these, I love these. Hubs is going to love those. So now for the banana Snickers, let me put those back in the fridge because that's where I would store them. I'll cover those later. Now these have not sat for a full hour, and it is good for them to sit. So if you make a bunch of these for either yourself, and you should eventually put these in covered, airtight container, what I would do is once they've gone past an hour, you should make sure that they sit out for a little bit before you eat them because you're going to break a tooth. But if you're making them fresh, just put them in an hour and then you can eat them. So let me show you how these look. I literally think I've got skin hanging from my lip. Oh my goodness, I hate to harp on this, but this was crazy, totally crazy. All right, so I'm trying to make this look pretty. I don't know if it's worth it, but there we go, our banana Snickers. Banana Snickers, yep. Okay, and put this over here. Let me show you. Remember, this is banana with a mix of maple syrup and peanut butter, 2-to-1 ratio, 1 part maple syrup, 2 parts peanut butter, drizzled chocolate, peanuts, flaky sea salt. And I know these are good. This one's calling my name right here. And I'm telling you that sea salt, do not miss just a little sea salt on top. Oh, the crunch. If you're not a peanut butter person, you can do almond butter and do, chopped almonds on top. So good. I mean, this is so good. Oh my God. Those are dangerous though. That's the one thing I'll tell you. I would never make a ton of them because I'd worried that I'd eat a ton of them. They're so good. They're so satisfying. Really good. You ready for the banana split? Let me bring you over. Now we have one more finishing touch, and I'm going to grab that right now. Oh wait, let me do this first. Okay. So look what happens to the skin. It's a little dark, but you can see the chips have melted. The walnuts have gotten a little burnt, which can happen if they're sticking out too much, but c'est la vie. Let me put this back and get out that. I'll put it on a plate. Using up all the plates today. Let me get that out. It's going to be a little hot, but I have asbestos hands, so. Now, this is the part you don't want to miss. To replicate the ice cream, what you're going to want to put on is our dear friend, Greek yogurt. Now, you could just use plain Greek yogurt if you want that contrast tang, but can't go wrong with vanilla, right? But you could just go for it and make it true dessert with some whipped cream. You could just go true dessert and put some ice cream on it, or a frozen yogurt on it, but just put a little dollop. And I'm telling you, this is like that. Because at first I'm like, yogurt? Oh, it's so good. It is really good because it gives you that whole creamy element. It's so good. So let me show you how that looks. You can see. So the skin becomes completely dark. Now this is going to be a little hot, but what happens to the banana is it intensifies its flavor. So it kind of, the heat cooks it and kind of takes some of the liquid out, the moisture out, so it intensifies the banana flavor. And if you use a riper banana, it's even sweeter. So I will tell you that right off the bat. So let me get in here, get some yogurt, get some chocolate chip, whoops, some nuts. Oh, I'm telling you, it is so good. It is like a dessert. I mean, it is a dessert. But, I mean, think about it. It is not, the only fat comes from the nuts, which we put about a tablespoon of nuts in there, and the fat from the yogurt. There's some protein from the yogurt, from the nuts. There's some chocolate. There's some sugars from the banana and the yogurt, because we did use sweetened yogurt. If you want to use plain yogurt, I mean, do not knock it till you try it. It is so good. And there's so many other things you could do, like, and I've already done them. So this is probably my favorite, if I'm being honest. I did do one where I did banana, I did, I think, pecans, cinnamon, what is the other thing I put in there? Because I wanted to give it more of that banana bread feel on it. So maybe it was just pecan, cinnamon, and I might have drizzled some honey on there or something. And then I used, you know, the yogurt, and so that kind of gave me that, the feels of like banana bread, and that was very good. But there's something about the chocolate. And I think the other thing that would be really good with this are putting some mini marshmallows in, make it like s'mores. That would be so good. Also, I mean, I'd be remiss in saying if you did not use the hazelnut spread, like with chocolate, then you wouldn't necessarily need the chocolate chips too. But I mean, there's so many different things you could do, and just put whatever. And what's nice is because it's kind of a limited space, it's going to limit you to a certain amount. Like you can't put too much stuff in here because there's no room. So it's portioned, and it kind of keeps everything to a reasonable amount, and it just gives you that desserty, sweet. But again, we're talking whole foods here, you know, except for the peanut butter. Peanut butter is processed. But, you know, otherwise, like this is, like, it's really nice. And again, the Greek yogurt just gives you that creamy element. You just, I mean, you could do whipped cream, but I'm telling you, it's really, really good. And what's nice is this is pretty hot. So with whipped cream, you know, it's airy, so it just kind of puffs down. The Greek yogurt can handle that because it's thicker. So, or whether you did skyr, and it's just delicious. So really, really good. Highly recommend this. So yeah, so lots of, you can see the sweet influence that I've had. The only thing I had trouble with, and I just want to mention this, was sometimes, especially near the ends, or if you get too close to the skin, I found when because I made these 2 other times before, is I found a bitter section. It was like, and I don't know if it was from the skin or if it was just from the ends, but that was not very tasty. So the one thing I thought is that you could also try to make it like in a ramekin or something, where you maybe put a layer of banana, the filling, and then a layer up here, or you kind of almost do the same thing, put banana on either sides and put the filling in the middle. So if you find that's a problem, that's what I would recommend, because when you hit that bitter spot, that kind of ruins the bite, and you're like, ew. So I wouldn't dig deep when you're eating this. Just go for the part you see, because I was like, oh, I'm trying to get as much as I can, and I got like to some bitter, pithy stuff that was not tasty. So just be warned with that. But it is great. It's just such a nice, easy, quick snack. And again, this got plenty sweet with just being yellow, but even if they had more spots on them, or frankly, even if they were getting brown, I still think it would work because it would just be a sweeter banana. So yeah, so lots of options. So friends, I hope that you found some options for snacks. Now this is more of a dessert, and so are the banana Snickers. But, you know, for some snacks, or even when you have sweet cravings. And, but let me know what your favorite snacks are. And I always love, you know, I think it's good to share with our foodies the different things that we're doing to fill ourselves up. Of course, a good snack with protein is always vegetables and hummus, and there's so many flavors of hummus. But if you're looking for something a little different, we've got the chickpeas. And by the way, the chickpeas could also be added as a topping to a salad to make it crunchy and add a little protein if you didn't have like chicken or fish that you wanted to put on. But yeah, and I just think, you know, when sweet cravings hit, it's nice to have some options. It's nice to be prepared. So I hope you liked it. The new schedule will be dropping. We're getting towards the end of the month. It'll be dropping on March 1st. So I'm not sure quite how March is going to look. I know it'll be at least 2 live streams. I'm not sure if I'm just going to add 1 more and then do like kind of step into it. So I've got to put my head around it and see what's going to work. But definitely at least 2, and I know there'll be more than 2. It'll be at least 3. So we will see. But Barb, DS, Archie, thank you so much. And anyone else watching, don't forget to like and subscribe and share. And please let me know what you want to see in the future. I do definitely love to know what my followers like to see, and I try to incorporate that in future streams. And until we eat again, bye friends, stay healthy, get your protein, and have a great week. Take care.